Have you ever longed to witness an ocean made not of water, but of land? We invite you on a journey to a place where the earth itself seems to breathe in rolling, rhythmic waves. This is a story for the soul that seeks tranquility, for the mind that craves wonder, and for the heart that finds beauty in the vast, quiet corners of the world. Welcome to the Palouse, a masterpiece of the American Northwest. Here, in southeastern Washington, wave after wave of velvety hills stretch to the horizon, a landscape so fluid and gentle it feels almost alive. Each swell and dip in the earth is a brushstroke in a portrait painted by time itself. The Palouse is a canvas of perpetual change, shifting its palette with the passing seasons. In spring, it wears a vibrant cloak of emerald and lime as new wheat awakens, but by late summer, it transforms into a sweeping vista of gold and sun-bleached brown, ready for the harvest. This constant cycle is the very heartbeat of the region. As you stand here, feeling the breeze whisper across the slopes, you realize this is more than just farmland. This is one of Washington State's most serene natural wonders, a place that holds an ancient and deeply fascinating secret within its soft contours. The story of its creation is as breathtaking as the view. One might assume these hills were carved by ancient rivers or sculpted by the slow grind of tectonic plates, but the truth is far more poetic. The Palouse owes its signature shape to an invisible artist, a force that carried the very building blocks of this land across continents. This landscape was born of the wind. The story begins in the Ice Ages, a time of colossal glaciers and unimaginable geological power. As glaciers advanced from the north, they ground mountains into a fine silted powder known as glacial flour, a dust as fine as talc. This was the first ingredient in a recipe that would take millennia to complete. This glacial flour washed into a prehistoric lake, but the true drama began when ice dams broke, unleashing cataclysmic floods that reshaped the entire region. These floods, known as the Missoula floods, thundered across eastern Washington, leaving behind immense layers of nutrient-rich silt. The stage was set for the wind's grand performance. Over thousands of years, prevailing winds from the southwest lifted this fine dust, this loess, into the air. The winds carried it eastward, a slow and steady migration of earth through the sky. This was not a sudden event, but a patient accumulation, layer by delicate layer. The wind finally laid its burden to rest here, draping the silt over the basalt bedrock like a soft blanket. Each layer settled, creating the deep, fertile soil that defines the region today. The hills you see are not eroded, but built up, dunes of dust frozen in time. The origin of the name Palouse is itself a story whispered on the wind, its true meaning debated. One theory suggests French-Canadian fur traders, seeing the landscape, called it Palouse, a lawn, a land of short, thick grass. It's a name that perfectly captures the gentle, cultivated beauty of the land. Long before the traders and farmers, this land was home to the Palouse tribe, a people whose name may have been the very origin of the word Palouse. Their lives were interwoven with the native prairie, a landscape of blue bunch wheatgrass and Idaho fescue that once covered these hills entirely. Their story is the foundational layer of human history here. The 19th century brought a new wave of transformation, as pioneers on the Oregon Trail heard whispers of this fertile paradise to the north. They came seeking a new life, drawn by the promise held within the deep loess soil. The Palouse was about to become the breadbasket of the inland empire. A land rush in the 1880s, fueled by the arrival of the railroad, forever changed the face of the prairie. Towns like Colfax, Pullman, and Moscow sprang from the fertile earth, becoming hubs for the burgeoning wheat industry. The age of cattle ranching gave way to an empire of grain. In the heart of this new frontier, two great universities were founded just 8 miles apart, Washington State and the University of Idaho. They rose with the grain elevators and the general stores, symbols of a community built not just on agriculture, but on innovation and knowledge. They remain the intellectual anchors of the region to this day. Farming this unique landscape was a monumental challenge, a battle against gravity itself. In the early days, harvesting required immense teams of 120 men and over 300 horses and mules, a nomadic army moving from farm to farm. The steep, rolling hills demanded incredible strength and ingenuity. Then came the age of mechanization, a revolution that echoed across the hills. The invention of smaller combines, built right here in the region, And later, the development of powerful tractors that could conquer the steep slopes transformed the Palouse into one of the most productive agricultural regions on Earth. But this transformation came at a cost, a climax in the ecological story of the Palouse. The native prairie, once an extensive ecosystem teeming with life, has become one of the most endangered in the United States. Today, over 94% of the original grasslands have been converted to farmland. The loss of the native grasses and wetlands altered the very flow of water, leading to erosion and causing perennial streams to run dry by midsummer. The delicate balance that had existed for millennia was fundamentally changed in the span of a few generations. The land was productive, but wounded. Yet, the story does not end there. A new chapter is being written, one of stewardship and restoration. In recent decades, the adoption of no-till farming has begun to heal the soil, reducing erosion and helping the land retain its precious moisture. And as the human footprint becomes gentler, life returns. Riparian areas are being restored, inviting a greater diversity of birds back to the stream corridors. The quiet observer can now spot white-tailed deer browsing at dusk, red-tailed hawks circling on thermals, and yellow-bellied marmots sunning themselves on rocky outcroppings. Even the suburban landscape can become a refuge. On a small plot of converted wheat field, one wildlife professor documented 86 different species of birds returning over a 10-year period. It's a powerful testament to nature's resilience and a hopeful sign for the future of the Palouse. The history of fire here is also complex, once a natural part of the ecosystem, then used by settlers, and now largely suppressed. This has allowed forests to encroach on former prairies, another layer in the ever-changing narrative of this dynamic landscape. Every element here tells a piece of the story. Today, the Palouse is the most important lentil-growing region in the United States, its agricultural identity continuing to evolve. The farmers here are not just cultivating crops, they are cultivating a future, balancing a legacy of production with a growing awareness of conservation. To experience the Palouse is to witness this grand interplay of geology, history, and ecology firsthand. It is a place that asks you to slow down, to watch the light change, and to listen to the stories carried on the wind. Drive the winding roads that trace the contours of the hills, where every turn reveals a new, breathtaking composition of light and shadow. The sheer scale of the landscape is humbling, a panorama that feels both infinite and intimate. Hike to the top of Steptoe Butte, a quartzite island rising from the Sea of Loess, and gaze out at the 360-degree view. From this vantage point, you can truly appreciate the colossal forces that shaped this land and the delicate human tapestry woven upon it. Feel the deep connection to time as you stand amidst the waves of green or gold. You are standing on soil that traveled hundreds of miles on the wind, on land that has nourished people for generations. It is a profound sense of place that settles deep within you. This is not a landscape of jagged peaks or dramatic coastlines. The beauty of the Palouse is subtle, a quiet power that unfolds the longer you stay. It's in the lone barn standing sentinel on a distant hill, and the way clouds cast fleeting shadows across the rolling fields. It is a land of immense beauty, born from Ice Age cataclysms and sculpted by a patient wind. A place where the past is never far from the surface, and the future is being sown with every season's crop. The Palouse is waiting to share its secrets with you. So come, and lose yourself in this ocean of Earth. The Palouse is more than a destination. It is a story, a feeling, a geological poem whispered on the wind. And it's a story that will stay with you long after you've gone.